What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxette, but as you can see here, I wanted to start by giving a big shout out to Michaela, who shares a whole bunch of music with me, who supports on Patreon, who sent donations, and who has sent me a lot of physical media, and she sent a 10 CD, 1 vinyl collection of Pear's material, which is given the subtitle A Lifetime of Songwriting. It features music from Glenn Tider. I'm surely saying that incorrectly. I've seen people write it a lot, but I've not heard it aloud, so I apologize. My pronunciation is surely incorrect there. But also Roxette and his solo material. It features a high number of demos, and I believe tunes that would eventually be Roxette songs, but with Pear on vocals instead of Marie, as they were workshopped or as they were, put to recording for eventual development. In any case, I'm very, very appreciative, so once again, thank you to Michaela and to all the Roxers who've been here now for, I think, a couple years. I don't remember exactly when this journey started, but it feels like it's been on the order of 2 years now, and my appreciation for Roxette has only continued to grow, and my understanding of their musical diversity and experimentation has, of course, expanded as we've gone forward in time. And indeed, it feels particularly relevant to say that as we've gone through Have a Nice Day, which has had electronic sounds, as well as some tunes more in what we would call their wheelhouse. Again, I know this album isn't necessarily everyone's favorite, but it does feel like there's a number of you out there who consider at least some of the songs to be very, very compelling, and I certainly agree with that. And as someone who's into dance music and electronic sounds and acid sounds, I have found an especial appreciation for some of the tunes on this album that surprised me to the degree they pursued that type of sonic atmosphere. In any case, we're up to the last final tune in the folder I'm working from. Once again, big shout out to Yun, who started us on this journey, as well as Phil, who's made the larger Roxette catalog available, as well as, again, Michaela, who sent Roxette material in physical form. Shell has sent me Roxette material in physical form, so you are all greatly appreciated, and I hope Roxers are still here for the continuation of this journey. And we do have bonus tunes in this folder, so even after we finish this tune, which is called Beautiful Things, there are more reactions from this particular Roxette chapter. In any case, the title Beautiful Things, it is necessarily general. Things is a placeholder now, and it's like saying stuff or material. It is a conceptual description of things which have more specificity in fact. And in that regard, things which are beautiful are, at least on the surface of it, desirable, aesthetically pleasing, or otherwise wonderful, whether that is for the emotion, for the eyes, for people's interactions, for the world at large. So I feel like it is necessarily very general, but certainly pushes us in a direction that sounds positive. Now, of course, beautiful things, like all things related to human affairs, have a beginning, middle, and an end. Nothing is permanent, nothing is eternal. So in that regard, I suppose there's an inherent beauty in the impermanence concept, but either way, I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is from Roxette's album Have a Nice Day, 1999, a track called Beautiful Things.
Beautiful things are coming my way, but beautiful things, I want them to stay. But after a while, my beautiful things don't seem beautiful at all. And terrible things like the beautiful things, the sky and the sea. Since you've been gone, no beautiful thing seems beautiful to me. Is there someone I can talk to? Someone out there on the line? Does anybody want to hear what's on my mind? Make the grass grow in the garden when the rain is passing by. Does anybody want to know what's on my mind? Does anybody want to know? Is there someone I can talk to? Someone out there on the line? Does anybody want to hear what's on my mind? Want to hear what's on my mind? Want to hear what's on my mind? Does anybody want to know? Does anybody want to know? Does anybody want
What a beautiful thing to end the album. So, yeah, like, lyrically, it sounds like we are talking about the impermanence of things which are both beautiful and terrible. It sounds like her lover, someone who was very important to her, has moved on. Now, whether that's because they passed away or because they left, there was a breakup, I wasn't quite certain on that point. But it sounds like it's also playing with the idea of dreams and reality, in that if you have a wonderful dream and you wake up and it scatters and dissipates, that could be the end of a beautiful thing. But if you're having a bad dream or a bad feeling and you wake, that can scatter a terrible thing, and thus nothing is permanent. Nothing which has deep emotional quality in one direction or another is going to last forever. And it sounds like she's now reaching out and trying to make a connection, and seemingly again with a line that's at least figuratively referring to a telephone, trying to call someone and hear someone on the other end. But yes, I wonder again if it's about speaking to the person who is here no more, or if she's now looking for a confidant, someone to comfort her, someone to hear her out and let her express cathartically these built-up emotions about this person who's here no longer. And she would love to know that there are people who are willing to hear her, who would like to know what's on her mind and in her heart, so to speak. So yes, I wonder if it is moving on or getting past someone, whether because they passed away or because there has been a separation and they're not here anymore by choice. But more than I predicted in advance, it seems like it is about the impermanence of both beautiful and terrible things, and being able to adapt, to find a new situation, a new outlet for your emotions. Either way, I do enjoy the composition that in a way feels more classical sounding. We have violin, especially in this sort of rhythmic motion, and I think a cello, a deeper stringed instrument sound that provided a lower foundation for the track, but a very gorgeous composition. But there was this electric squiggle, there were some other moments which sounded like keyboard, there was a bass line which wasn't the most prominent layer, but which I was catching. There was also a moment early on where I swear I heard Pear in subtle supporting duet with Marie, but I don't know if that was more than just a moment or two, or if I was maybe even imagining it. But yeah, in the first third of the tune, I thought I heard that. But Marie sounding wonderful, again, of course, flourishing in some moments and really hitting some nice heights, and having the appropriate emotional character to her delivery relative to what I took the lyrics on a first listen, which again, when I do these reactions, I don't always catch the lines correctly, or at least not all of the contours of the themes at play. But yes, it sounded very much like it's dealing with feelings of beauty and hurt, reality and dreams, the present and the future, as well as the past. So it seems like it's taking the entire emotional human experience and trying to understand its different facets temporally, interpersonally, internally. So just a really wonderful tune to end the album on. And as I said, I've enjoyed this album a great deal. I do recognize that it's not identical, but hey, no group that I know does exactly the same thing. Even some punk bands where I enjoy that they have their own sound and they've consistently articulated that sound over a long career, even in those cases there tends to be songs and stylings over time that are experimenting or trying new things. And ultimately, one of my favorite synth pop groups, Depeche Mode, famously has evolved over time. So yes, the fact that this album was different to me is a positive, even if of course I love the classic 80s synth rock sound of Roxette. So once again, shout out to all the Roxers out there. Shout out to Michaela for sending this and others who sent me Roxette or Roxette adjacent material. Again, there's been a few of you who've commented, including someone, I think it was Lauren, someone just commented on one of the Roxette video reactions that excuse me, I put over on Patreon, but there are a number of my Roxette video reactions which are now public. I embargo them, meaning full members can see them for the first few days, but then after that they do go public. So if you haven't seen any of my Roxette video reactions, I would say go check out my Patreon. I would say also, the most recent one I did, I tried to post on YouTube today and it got blocked again, so it might be a teaser. I might put it up as a teaser, but to see the full thing you will have to go over to Patreon. So I encourage any Roxers who are interested in seeing my video reactions to Roxette to go check that out. Otherwise, as I said, we'll be back for bonus tunes next time. Let me make sure I know what the next one is, or the first one among them is. It Hurts. So yes, we'll be listening to It Hurts next time. Thank you again to all those who've contributed to the Roxette journey. Let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time. Peace.